Hi. Our last story, we found that Joseph was kind of hiding. Potiphar had fire in his eyes. He was after him because his wife lied to him. She said Joseph came in and he tried to rape me. And Potiphar believed his wife, and she said, "Look, here, I've got his clothes." And so they finally found Potiphar and took him off and put him into the king's prison in Egypt, the king of Egypt's prison. And so he got thrown into prison, and while he was down there, he was so sad. And he was talking to the Lord. He said, "Lord, why do all of these things happen to me? You know I love you." He said, "First of all, my brothers hate me. They didn't like me. I got thrown down into a deep pit, thought I was going to die down there. Then I get brought up, and then I'm dragged off as a prisoner into Egypt. And now I've been lied about and thrown into prison." And that's what happened. Is they found him and they threw him into the king's prison. And so he was really feeling pretty awful. He said, "Lord, I love you. Where are you? I love you. And all these bad things are happening to me." Isn't that the way it is sometimes in our lives? But the Lord said, "Trust me. I know what I'm doing." And so he went down there into the prison, and it says in the scriptures that he tried to be a cheerful guy. He tried to keep his mind straight. And the man that was in charge of the prison down there, the prison guard, the chief of it, he noticed how Joseph had such a wonderful personality and integrity and everything. And he took note of that, and he actually let Joseph out to be his helper and to help the other prisoners down there. And he put Joseph in charge. He could trust him. And Joseph did a good job. Well, while Joseph was down there, two other prisoners got brought down there. And he said, "What are you guys here for?" And they said, "Well, we worked for the king." And one guy said he was a server for the king. He served him his dinner and his wine. And the other guy said, "Well, I was a baker for the king. And we don't understand. We just got thrown down here." And of course, all the prisoners say, they're innocent. But then a little while passed, and they called for Joseph, and they said, "We've had a couple of dreams, and we figured you would listen to us. You've got that integrity, at least listen." Well, the scriptures tell us that Joseph was the man of dreams. He could interpret dreams. He was, in all the scriptures, he could interpret dreams. And the other one was Daniel. He could interpret dreams. So there's these two guys that stand out with special gifts from the Lord. And so they said, "We had these dreams. Could you please tell us what they mean?" And Daniel said, "Well, sure, I'll listen to them." And the first one that told his dream was the servant. And he said, "Well, I was bringing in a tray with some wine or some grapes on it, and I was going to squeeze." It says in there he was going to squeeze the grapes into the glass. Maybe it was grape juice or something for breakfast. I don't know. And he said, then all of a sudden, these 3 branches shot out from the glass, or the goblet, or whatever they drank out of. And he said, and then buds came out on the branches, and then after that, the leaves came out, and it was full of grapes that were the biggest, most delicious grapes I've ever seen. And Joseph said, that is telling me that in 3 days, you're going to be let out of prison. And the guy said, oh, goody, oh, thank you. And he said, but that's not all. You're going to be restored. The 3 branches are the 3 days. And then also after that, with the blossoms and the leaves and the full ripe grapes, he said, that shows me you're going to be restored back to your position. And so the guy was so happy. And then the other guy said, well, let me tell you my dream now, please. He was hoping for something good too. So he told him his dream, and he said, I was walking along and I had 3 baskets on my head full of all kinds of my bakery goods. He said, I had chocolate-covered donuts and butterscotch donuts. I had cardamom coffee cake. I had every kind of a Long John. And he said, I was going to bring them to the king's table for dessert. But then the birds came and they started pecking on the baskets up there. I was trying to get them away and they're pecking on the baskets. And he said, they just ruined everything. They ate up all of the bakery goods and they spilled my baskets all over, and I wasn't able to get it all picked up. It was all crumbs and everything. And Joseph said, unfortunately, your dream is that there were 3 baskets. He said, in 3 days, you're going to be hung from a tree branch and the birds are going to pick your flesh. That's not a dream, that's a nightmare. And so he was very sad indeed. I've got to stop here because I'm out of my time, but I'll be back with the rest of the story. Bye-bye.